For all things outdoors, listen to the father of two, the Jesus-loving TV show hosting hairy, true-blood American redneck, Ben Cole.
And listen to the outdoor filming, chef cooking, chocolate milk drinking, John Weismuller. And we are
Rooted Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Rooted Podcast. This week's episode, we're going to talk about what we're doing on the ranch, planting food plots for the regular hunting season. We're also going to talk a little bit about fishing and talk about John's niece's experience in the fishing world. You know, it's always great to get kids out there, get them involved in the outdoors. So, John, let's dive in. Tell us the story about what went on with that fishing.
Oh, yeah, man. So, listen, my niece has been fishing a few times. She's 4 now. And, every time she comes to see Nana and Pop Pop, she's got to go fishing. Right at the end of my parents' driveway are 2 awesome ponds. So we go down there. She has her little Zebco and whatever other little ultralight, rod we got. And, just bobber, little hook, worm, and we just go in there, and it's easy pickings, man. And she just has such a ball, dude, watching that bobber move up and down and go underwater and then fighting the fish and reeling. And oh man, she just gets so excited. So this time around, she said that she wanted to hold the fish. In other words, she wanted to lip it because her hands and fingers are so small she can lip the little sunnies. So she finally did that. So she finally lipped her first fish and threw it back in the water all by herself, and it was on her own accord. She wanted to do it. So man, to me, anytime that you can get anybody new into the outdoors, whether it's a little kid or even if it's a grown adult and it's their first time just because they've never been introduced, anytime that you can introduce somebody into something that you love, especially, God's creation, there's just nothing like it. I feel like I get more excited watching her catch the fish than she gets excited catching the fish. And I mean, that's just the best feeling in the world. So if you have a chance to introduce somebody into the outdoors, you need to.
No, I agree with you 100% because, we both started on that spectrum as kids. Both of our dads took us. We had people in our lives that took us when we were kids. And, I might not remember the exact memory 100%, but I can look at a deer I've got on the wall, or I can go back and look at different photos and things like that bring back those memories, of what it was like when I was
absolutely.
a kid, and I know you're the same way, but man, what y'all are doing with her is lifelong, man. That never goes away. She'll remember that forever. Mm-hmm. And, that's what we're trying to do with our kids too, with Teddy and Daisy and all that stuff. Like today, me and Teddy went out and we got some deer feed because I've been seeing a couple deer over at the neighbors. Excuse me. No, but they've been over at the neighbors, and I thought, I need to get Teddy involved in this. So it is time to go get some deer feed and let him help me put it out and all that good stuff. So we went strolling into the old Tractor Supply, and of course, the first thing he sees is trucks. He's like, "Daddy, I got to have a truck." I was like, No, you don't. We're good on trucks, boy. You got plenty of trucks. I said, let's go get deer feed first, and then we can come back and look at the trucks. And of course, that wasn't a good answer, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah. Well.
So it is what it is, man. But nonetheless, we went out and got the deer feed, brought it home. He got out of the truck with me, and we hauled off behind the house there and got it all squared away and filled up the feeder. He was toting around my battery pack for the camera. So I was like, here, you hold this because this is big enough for you to hold. It's not too much like the mineral block or the 50-pound bag of feed or whatever. So I poured the feed into the feeder, and he starts grabbing handfuls out of the spout and just throwing it everywhere. I was like, this is awesome. He's going to, have a blast doing this, and that's a good way to get him introduced into this exact thing. So, man, I'm pumped about that, and we had a good time doing it. We've already got deer on camera. Literally put the stuff out at 12. They were back there at I want to say 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock till dark. They were there.
Awesome. And then he gets to see, kind of, the fruits of his labor, so to speak. It kind of teaches him that process. Like, look, if you work, good things happen. You get
Yes.
rewarded. So, he went to Tractor Supply. He went and put out the feed, and then he got to sit there and watch deer all evening long. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, man, it was pretty awesome. And he was like, Daddy, can we see the deer on the cameras? I was like, yeah, buddy, whenever they step out, I'll show them to you. And he just kept saying, Daddy, can I see the cameras? Are there deer there yet? I was like, not yet, buddy. And then the camera started going off. And I was like, Daddy, come here. Look, man. And he got so excited, just beside himself. He said, can I go pet them? I was like, no, man, they ain't going to let you pet them. They're gonna bolt out of here like a wild banshee. They're going to be gone. So, but, man, the thing is we're getting him out there, getting him into it. And, people may think I'm crazy, but, man, I've got him a BB gun. Little Red Ryder, shoot so slow you can see the BB come out the end of the barrel. I mean, you're not getting hurt by that, I promise you. So we go out and he'll sit in my lap and I'm teaching him how to hold the gun properly. I'm teaching him about know your target, what's behind it, and all those things that go into to actually shooting a firearm safely. So, we're already starting in that because my thought process is, well, if we start now, then I've got over 3 years to get him ready to shoot an actual high-powered rifle. And that gives me 3 years to ingrain this into his head. Hey, this is the safe way to do it. This is the way that we are going to do it. And a gun is not a toy. It's not a toy. You don't play with it. You go out, you shoot with Daddy, you shoot at a target that has a solid backdrop that the bullet will not go through, and you make sure you don't aim it at people or aim it at a house or cars or anything like that. So that's what we're going through right now, is talking through all that stuff and teaching him about, more than anything, I'm teaching him the fundamentals of how to hold the firearm.
Like, gotta love it. I mean, and everybody's got to start somewhere. That's why I even tell adults that I take out for the first time, and they're kind of like, man, this is just so juvenile and elementary and, baseline foundational stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but, man, you just got to get started. And then, the ball's going to get rolling. I mean, half the battle's just showing up. So you just got to get out there, man, and just get after it. It's the golly bum, dude. I'm telling you, man, whenever you get out there, you will not regret it. I promise you that.
No, that's the truth, man. And you said what you just said is very important. It may seem mundane and basic and elementary and all that, but the elementary, mundane, basic steps are what keep you alive and keep somebody else alive. That's the point.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you have to do those mundane steps repetitively all the time. Or like if you're with me and you and you're new to the gun world, is your gun on safe? Where's that barrel pointed? Hey, don't point that barrel at me. Whatever. You're getting constant critique, but that is how people stay alive. It just is. You have to handle a firearm and consider every firearm as loaded and ready to roll, whether it is or it isn't. You have to factor every firearm you put your hands on as a loaded weapon every time.
It's hot, ready to rip, baby.
Yeah, so that's the way you have to approach that, and you have to approach it in a matter of, okay, how do I safely do this and enjoy it? And that's where we come in. We can show you all you need to know about that, and it's a whole lot of fun, man. I mean, dude, I love shooting my little 17 HMR. That thing is an armadillo crack. I mean, it will just bust those shells wide open.
Dude, I can't stand an armadillo, man. I don't know about y'all out there, but I just do not like it. They ain't good for nothing. All they are is just a possum on a half shell.
The old southern speed bump is what that is. Right. I mean, buddy, you hit one in that OF 250 going 60, 70 miles an hour, you feel it. I can promise you that.
Every bit of it.
It'd probably throw you out of alignment a little bit there if you ain't careful.
Yeah, you got to go straight to the shop after that.
Yeah, that's right, man. So you got to go straight to the shop and figure that one out. But yeah, man. So we're doing the safety stuff. We're getting Teddy involved in the outdoors and hunting and the prep work and watching the deer and all that kind of stuff. And it gets him really excited, which makes me happy. You know, I want him to do these little things now that aren't, just sitting out in the woods with daddy for hours and hours and hours to where he gets bored. Or he's like, man, I don't want to do this. I want to go home, to mama or whatever. So that's why right now I'm doing these small steps like, hey, let's go fill the feeders and watch the cameras and little things like that, because then he starts thinking, oh man, this is awesome. Me and dad get to go do this cool stuff together and watch the deer. And then when he's old enough, it's going to change to him watching the deer and him doing all the work.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Get him trained up, son.
Hey, boy, you filled them feeders this week?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, look. I'll tell you what else makes it easier for kids is food plots. Yeah. Love them or hate them, we love them, and I will forever plant one. So, now look, I'm a little tiny bit behind. I'm not too god awful behind, but I need to really go and buy my seed at the co-op and the feed store and wherever else that you want to buy your seed at. I don't have too big of a food plot. I'm just doing chufa, and that's for the turkeys come spring, and then I'm doing winter wheat, crimson clover, and a daikon radish. So, and just a little brassica action. But man, I know you've got, the corn's looking great, the beans are in the ground, and you've got some other spots cleared to plant some of this, August kind of fall plot stuff, clover, brassicas, other things like that. How's that coming along?
Well, the soybeans look like trash right now because we're in a drought and the deer have gone through and just absolutely obliterated my fields. They have pulverized them. Just, man, it's sad, honestly. They're wearing them out. Well, that's good. That's what it's there for, but I still wish they'd get, more than just a seedling coming up, just fresh sprouted. It'd be nice if we could actually have a good stand, and just not strip the whole row out. That'd be great. But, that's what they're there for. They're for the deer. So we'll probably end up going back into those fields and replanting some kind of winter crop, winter wheat or brassica or something like that, or a mix of both. Maybe even some cereal rye, something like that, man, some oats, just something that those deer are going to hammer down on and really eat. And, we've made some new plots this year, like you mentioned. So I showed you one of them in the back corner, and that plot is really special because, and I didn't really realize this until I was looking for sheds, and I drove up in there because I hadn't been in there in so long. I thought, man, I need to get over in that area and really start seeing what's in there. Dude, I counted 17 rubs in that field on little saplings. There were trails going every which way through that place, and I thought, oh boy, this is it. This is the spot that we need to have some food. So I went in there with the old bush hog, cut me out a big old circle right in the middle of it. And it's all grown up on the creek bank. It's all grown up all the way to the woods. I mean, dude, it's over head high on me. So that's 6'5" to 7 foot tallest stuff in there. So, but it's going to pay off, man. The deal is it's going to pay off, and I'm really excited about that. So that one is actually going to be just a clover plot. The reason being is about 500 yards to 1,000 yards away, the Field of Dreams, that's where that field is. And it's going to be, or it is, the beans and corn. So I want to diversify up a little bit like we've talked about before. But the other new spot that you have not seen yet, well, you've seen it, but not since I bush hogged the actual food plot out. So when you cross the dry creek there at Sinking Creek Ranch, you come up and you can either go right or go left. If you go right, you come around the edge, and that first turn back to your left, instead of turning left, I just went straight with that bush hog. I cut me a road out in that Johnson grass that's about 10 foot tall. And I cut me a road down the edge of the woods, and then I just made this big old circle. And the important part about this is right there in that corner, there's 2 road heads that meet across the creek. That they come off the mountain right there. And there is several deer trails that intersect right there in that point because it's where 2 creeks meet. It's the intersection of 2 creeks, which leads to the spring. So those deer are traveling through there all the time, and I've found a pile of sheds in there too in the past. And I just never put 2 and 2 together until I started walking around chasing turkeys, and I ended up walking through that creek bank and saw this trail. I was like, holy smokes, man. These deer are hammering down in this one particular area. So we need to put some food over here and leave that Johnson grass growing closer to the road that you drive around. So that way they feel comfortable coming out and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're doing right now. What I'm going to plant in there is definitely brassicas. It's some really loose soil, so it'll be able to handle those tubers and your root crops, if you will. It'll be able to handle that very well. And there will probably be some clover and little radish, just some mix of things in there. But man, that one right there is a special place. It's going to be unbelievable come deer season. I think somebody's going to kill a big buck in there because of all the trails, all the sign, and there's some big old rubs just right on that wood line, right on the edge of that wood line there. So we'll see.
Well, and this is the
happens.
most exciting time, right? Because it's always like, for us, we're we're looking at the wise eyes. We keep getting pictures. Every time I see a hunt control notification, it's like, oh, buddy, what's coming in front of my camera now? Like, this is the time of year of everybody's hopes and dreams, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, I got these 3, 4, 5 bucks on camera, and I'm gonna kill them all, right? Right now, all the deer that everybody's looking at are dead already in their mind. They're like, oh, I'm gonna go in there and schwack that thing, and then reality's gonna set in whenever half of them or more leave, and because it's just how deer are. It's how it goes. But this right now is the season of high hopes. So we got the food plots in, we got the wise eyes deployed, we're looking at pictures, and we're just ready to go in there and schwack one. So man, it's just it's just time. It's time to get them fall plots in. It's time to it is time, my friend. We need to be shooting bows. You need to be putting out minerals and corn or whatever kind of feed that you like. And obviously in Tennessee, we can only do that for so long.
Yeah, up until 2 weeks. All the corn has to be gone 2 weeks prior to the season.
Right. But but pure salt and pure mineral, you are A-OK, my friend.
You are okay.
Which is just crazy, but that's a whole nother discussion. I don't know if we want to deep dive into that.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to dive into that one just yet, John, but I think we should. On an upcoming episode, I say that be one of our topics because I have a lot of things to say about that. But this episode would go way too long if we start talking about that kind of stuff. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
But the thing about just the bare mineral, that's what you really need to key in on. If you're out there and it has an apple scent, illegal. I mean, you have to use just bare bones salt, bare bones trace mineral with nothing else in it during the hunting season. And I'm not going to get into all the if I agree with that or not. We'll talk about that later. It goes along with the not being able to put corn out and all that stuff. It all plays a role together.
It all ties in.
It does, and I'll talk more about that later. But the best thing that we can do right now is, put the food plots in that those deer are going to want to eat, and then spend the time running those wise eyes, running them in the spots that you've historically had deer. And what you said, right now it's the time of high hopes. Everybody gets in, is like, yeah, man, I'm going to swack that deer. Well, You know, man, I am a creature of opportunity. So I'm like, yeah, man, I'm gonna smack that deer, and then another one comes out, and I'm like, well, I like that one too. Boom! See you
Yeah,
later.
exactly.
I don't even think twice,
Later, player.
man. Hey, whichever one
Oh, there
decides
you
to
go.
walk in front of me that's, fully mature, sign me up. I'm all about it. Put me in, coach.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah, dude. I told my brother the same thing. He's been sending me pictures from his wise eye, and dude, he's got 3 or 4 nice deer down there in South Georgia,
Yeah.
and and dude, he's so pumped up, man. He's just ready to go. He invited me down for opening day and all that, and
Yeah.
I'm like, Jimmy, I I know you are excited, and you should be. You have
Mm-hmm.
every right to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the middle of July. Let's
Yeah.
let's just tone it back. Give it a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I hope those deer stay. I'd like to shoot one too. Who wouldn't?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not hoping they leave, but I'm like
Yeah.
we need to do a little bit more work,
Mm-hmm.
plant some stuff. Now, of course, this is Georgia, so you can put out feed all year round.
That's
And
right.
and then his spot in particular, he's got a good, nice body of water there to keep the deer really there. Because I mean, it's kind of a safe haven because there's a hunt club right next to him. He's got the water, he's got the food, and at the moment, he's got the deer. So it's a pretty exciting time there. And hopefully he gets one and he can finally put one on the wall there. He's never uh, got a buck, so we are trying to get him on his first one. But anyway, this is the time of year that you got to start planning that and
Yeah.
shoot your bow and sight in your rifles and do all that jazz. Because I know we've said it 100 times, but I'm telling you, I know someone's listening to this and going like, "Oh my gosh, it's the middle of July and I haven't touched my bow yet." And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yeah, yeah, well, you may want to do that because if you try to go to your bow shop on September 10th, let me tell you, they're not going to have the stuff for you, and they're going to be busy because you and
Yep.
everyone else is doing it. So do it now and get it over with, and
Yeah.
start. Make sure the string's good. Look at the arrows. Look at the
Mm-hmm.
fletchings. Make sure your release works the way it should.
Mm-hmm.
All those fun little things. Sight it in.
Yeah, no, that's it,
Get it
man.
ready
You
to go.
got to do it, brother. Got to be prepped. Got to be ready because that muscle memory is what you really need for being able to hold that bow a little bit longer if you have to, or whatever that looks like. But I'll
Any
say
of it.
this: I love the states that you can bait with corn, but I'll also say that doesn't always mean you're going to see a deer. Just saying, we've seen it,
No,
we've done it,
no.
we've hunted Georgia 100 times. When we killed that buck, our first buck kill on film, actually, aside from no, it was not. That was our second buck kill on film. For me and you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
yeah. Oklahoma was first, and then the Georgia buck. But that buck wasn't even going to the corn pile, man. He was running past the corn chasing the doe. Didn't even look at it. Wasn't even looking at it. Didn't
Nah,
care.
he's well, and the thing is, man, they see 1,000 of them. It's not like I mean, and again, we will dive into that. We can do a whole episode about baiting, but I'll
Yeah.
I'll just say this and I'll just say this: that deer has seen 1,000,000 corn piles in its life.
Mm-hmm.
It did not give a crap. It
Nope.
it was ready. She was ready, and it was the right time of the year. And Ben hit that grunt call, and he was like, "What in the world is another
Who?
deer trying to
Yeah.
get my lady?"
Yeah.
And he came in there, and that's all she wrote for that old deer.
Yeah. It's like who in the
And that
world?
was the second.
Yeah. That was the second big boy on.
That was the
Yeah.
well. That was the second big deer that day because there was another big
Yeah.
deer that we just couldn't get on and
Yeah.
just film it.
Yeah.
It just happened too quick, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
my point being is that deer wasn't going to the corn either.
No, neither one of them were, man. They were just, phew, see you later. We're out of here,
Later,
boys.
player.
Yeah, smell you later. Don't want nothing to do with you, big dog. We are out of here. So they wasn't paying us no mind, and that's okay. They don't have to. It's all
Yeah.
right. But good news is is that I think I'm gonna try to go down there and do that South Georgia Grand Slam again this year that me and you did a while back, and I think I might make a T-shirt about it, John. The South Georgia Grand Slam.
Hey,
You know, why
not a
not,
bad
man?
idea.
A duck, a deer, and a hog.
And a hog.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, why
Start
not?
start a
And
new
you know,
trend, man.
yeah, hey, the old South Georgia Slam, we can do that.
Yeah.
And we got obviously the spots we did it last time, but now, uh
Mm-hmm.
with my brother, we've got another just more opportunities. I'll put it to you that way. So
Hey, we got
um
to go see your brother because he's got those black-bellied whistling tree ducks that I need so badly. So I'm waiting on that phone
well, we can do
call,
that.
and then you just drive over to my house and get in my truck, and we'll haul Boogie down there to South Georgia and smash a few of them.
Yep, we'll just boot scoot boogie on down there.
Yeah, and then go see Chandler on our way out, shoot another deer, and then kill a
Yep.
couple hogs and have a good time doing it, man. You know, that's the best part is just having fun doing it. You know, I mean, you know what? I need to call Chandler actually because that rascal, he's going to have to put that some batteries back in the wise eye that I got down there and start running some feeds so we can see what we got down there. We need to get some velvet pics
Yeah.
from down there because I've got a wise eye down in that swamp right now. I'm like, boy, you need to get something going
Well,
down there.
we need to just send him a solar panel or a battery clip hookup to put a
Yeah,
12-volt on it, and then he don't even have to remember to do that.
well, that's true. Maybe I just make a
That'd be
trip
real
down
good.
there and see him and do that.
See there? It's just an excuse to go see Mr. Rowe and hang out on the
Well,
farm, and you know
well, that's true. Yeah, it's always. I don't even
why
need an
not? Why not?
excuse to go see him, but it's always good to see him. You know, always a good time.
Mm.
Never a
Hey,
dull moment.
I hear you.
So
Never. And
never.
that's the great thing about the great outdoors, man.
Yeah.
There's always something to learn. There's never a dull moment. Even when you're sitting there and you're literally not seeing, a deer or whatever, and you're hunting,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, hey, there's always something going around. Squirrel comes by, a bird lands on the, you know, gun barrel tip there and is looking at you
Yeah.
like you're literally, 12, you're literally like a foot away from a whatever kind of bird is. It's like all that stuff is cool, man. It's just really cool.
Yeah. No, it is. So I need to get down there and see Chandler. I need to go to Kentucky. I need to go to several states this year. But man, I've got to redeem myself in Texas, dude. I haven't killed a whitetail in
Yeah.
Texas yet. It's been on my hit list. But, I
Mm.
will say this. Nobody feel bad for me because I did opt to kill an axis deer free range over a whitetail. So it was my choice. And then the other times I've went, it
Yeah.
just hasn't panned out, like I thought it would. And that's hunting, man. That's just part of the gig, It's just the way it is. There's no, you know, woe is me or none of that. That's just part of it, man. And I love it. I love the highs, the lows, and everything in between. And that's what we got to do is just get back on the saddle and keep riding that horse. That's about it, really.
Hey, man. I mean, yeah. Well, listen, we can go to Texas easy enough, I think. I mean, we've definitely got doubled up on some Rios. You saw me turn there. That's what I'm looking at. That good old Rio mounted on the wall there. I know I've talked about that 100 times, but I mean, the bottom line is, I think to this episode is just, you know, if you're gonna plant food plots, plant them pretty darn soon. You got a little bit of leeway, but you know, we need to get on them. That's me included. I'm the same way. And then get your bow out, get your guns out. And just be ready. And if you have a chance, if you have an opportunity, take someone who's never been. You will not regret it.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's fishing for the rest of this summer, if it's deer hunting this fall, if it's, dude, even if it's take them out and let them feed up the feeder. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
what it is. If you can
Yeah.
do it, take them out there and do it.
Yeah. No, man, that's exactly right. And you know, I say the more times that you can take them out there, the better it's going to be. And you might just turn into having a little hunting buddy there with you, and then the whole course of their life could be changed because of that. And that's a beautiful thing, man. And that's what we're here for. And that's what I like to do is I like to get kids involved because, man, just seeing the excitement on a kid's face is unbelievable, dude. Nothing like it, man.
Oh,
It's absolutely awesome. So, that's what we're here for. At the end of the day, guys, get out, start scouting, start running them Wise Eye trail cameras or whatever brand you run, but that's what we run. And I promise you, they're the best cameras on the market. You can't get anything better than that. And man, just get out in the woods, get out in God's creation, and truly live out, Genesis 9. We have dominion over these animals, but we have to take care of them too. So, you gotta take care of them critters, man. But other than that, man, I ain't got nothing else to say. Well, guys, we just lost John here, so I'm going to close this on out. Thank y'all for listening to another episode of Rooted Podcast. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties tonight. As always, if you want to support this podcast, please head over to our website at rootedtelevision.com, and that will give you everything you need: hats, shirts, hoodies, all kind of cool swag. Also, there's a link in the description if you feel like donating or whatever that is. Feel free. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. That's how we get to keep going and keep doing this. But always, guys, just keep your head up, keep in the woods, and keep God first, and everything else will go accordingly. And with that, the redneck is out. For all things Rooted Podcast and Rooted Television, and I mean hats, shirts, hoodies, and other merch, check out our friends at CH Lone Star Pro and the link that is in our description.